I had the guy at gunpoint. When I went into the motel room, the manager gave me the key. So I went in and told me he was in there, and the guy's vehicle was there. So I opened the door, went in. There was a really skinny girl on one of the beds. It was one of those motels with two small beds. I didn't even see the baby because I saw her and I saw him. He had wet hair. Go to your knees, put your hands behind your head, go to your knees. He's looking at her. She starts screaming. It gets a little chaotic. She literally picks that baby up and threw the baby across the room at me.
Welcome to Creepalachia. We are going to talk some tales of fugitive recovery in the Appalachian Mountains with people who know him very well, especially in Southern West Virginia, Gary Vaughan. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, man. I'm pumped about this. And we're going to reference, so Gary's wrote a couple books, which he was so nice to give me. We have There's a Meth Head in Your Dryer, and we have Stop Throwing Crack Babies at Me. So excellent titles. I mean, it just grabs you right in.
Catchy, right?
Yeah. So I guess first, kind of give me some backstory on you, how you ended up, around here and what you did for a living, what you do for a living, all that.
Well, I was born and raised in Southern West Virginia. I was actually born in Richwood, but my father moved here when I was just a tiny tot. He was a state trooper. My dad's brother was a state trooper. So I grew up with police. I grew up in the police station. Graduated high school from Shady and immediately went to the Army. Spent some time in the Middle East when Desert Storm was deployed over there.
Oh, wow.
101st Airborne. Spent some time in Korea. I traveled. When I got out of the military, I came back here. Started working as a private investigator immediately. My first PI job was for Workman's Comp before they were Brick Street way back in the day. They would send me out looking for claimants that they had complaints on that were not really hurt. So that's how I got started with my dad's PI agency, and it just kind of spiraled from there. I ended up getting my own PI license instead of working under him, doing investigations for private people, attorneys. And one day I was hired by a bonding company to find someone that they had been looking for a long time. And I literally found the guy that day. And in a few weeks, I was working for him, and it just spun out from there.
Wow. There's so much there. First off, thank you for your service. So why did initially, let's kind of back up. Why did you initially join the military?
Well, when I graduated in 88, there wasn't a lot to do here. A lot of people that I went to school with were going to go south, or they were going to go to college somewhere and look for something to do. It seemed to fit me. My dad was in the military. My dad's brother, the trooper, was also in the military. My grandparents, it just seemed to fit me. I don't really know why I wanted to do it. I just felt like I needed to do it. Now, I thought I might do it for a couple of years, for a little short. I ended up doing two tours and 2 4-year tours, and it just it felt good for me. Mm-hmm. It's not for everyone. I understand that.
Yeah. So and there was a time, which I'm a diabetic, so I would have failed the physical, but I think the structure would have helped me a lot when I was young, because there was a time where I was just kind of drifting off and didn't really feel like I had a purpose, but I feel like that would do a lot of good for a lot of people. So it's especially important, obviously, for protection of the country and all of the obvious things. But how did that prep you into your next career step of, kind of joining the family business?
One of the biggest things, well, you're right about the structure, and that's military wide, from the smallest problem to the biggest. One of the biggest things I learned there is if there's a problem with anything, you identify it and you fix it. And that works in everyday life, really. If you think about it, you see so many problems out there that nobody's doing anything about. Find out where the base of this problem is, identify that problem, agree that that's a problem, make some changes, fix it. And it goes that way from anything, especially in criminal investigations, writing, anything, fix it.
Sure. Yeah. And, so do you remember what your first case was, or is there anything that stood out of like, I kind of like this when you started?
Yeah. I think the first case that I really sank my teeth into was a murder arson, and my job was to go talk to the defendant's alibi witnesses. And now this is the defendant telling me, hey, you go talk to these guys. They'll tell you I was with them all night. And I could tell you the story, but
oh yeah, sure.
Well, the defendants, so I'm here to talk to these folks. I'm saying, hey, was he with you that night? Yeah, he was. Now we're back in the country here, and we're talking to country folk, and they don't. A lot of country folk in West Virginia, they don't diverge a lot. You got to ask it, and I'm sure you know that.
Oh yeah.
So he was with you all night. Yeah, he was with us all night. So did you go anywhere? Well, yeah, we went out to rent some movies. Okay, so you did go somewhere. Did you stop anywhere? Yeah, well, we stopped at this trailer park. Well, that was the trailer park where the guy got killed and his place burnt down.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, well, did he do anything, say anything? Well, he went inside, and when he came back out, we went back to the house and watched some movies that we'd rented. So did he say anything? He said, yeah, we got to go. I killed this fella.
Oh, my.
So this is his own witnesses talking to me.
Yeah.
And it was just so intriguing that they thought nothing of that. They're going to tell it how it went, And then the next morning I said, well, did you see him the next morning? Yeah, he had black all over his hands and he smelled like kerosene because the place had been burnt down overnight where the guy was shot and killed. So he said, am I going to have to go testify? I said, no, I don't think they're going to call you for that. No. Yeah. But it grabbed me, and I'm like, is this normal? And I learned that that's very, very normal.
My goodness. So what's the process? And kind of talk to people about, what a PI actually does, what's your type of clientele, all that good stuff.
Well, that's wide spectrum. Getting started outside after working for comp fraud, you do a lot of private stuff, and most of that is domestic, and I don't like it. I never liked it. It's boring. It's aggravating. Your clients call you constantly, and they expect miracles of you. If you ask me to follow your wife because you think she's doing something, all I can do is follow your wife. I can't make her do anything, and they're unhappy when you look, I followed her for the last 36 hours and she's went to work and she's came home and been to Walmart, and you're angry at me for that.
She's not cheating on you.
I don't know what to tell you. Now, if you think when she's cheating on you, specifically, call me and I'll follow her for that. So a lot of that. And then it's a whole lot easier and more fun to me when you start getting into attorney work, defense work. Mm-hmm. A lot of attorneys will use you to go out and find witnesses, talk to witnesses, get statements, find out what they're going to say before they get to court. That's what I enjoyed doing more than any of that.
Right. So, which one of these books came first? And I apologize, you told me and I forgot.
There's a meth head in your dryer, the red one.
Nice. So eventually you had the inspiration. You're a very creative dude. Anyone who knows you knows you're always making something, heavily involved in the arts in Raleigh County. What inspired you to take up writing? Did you always, did you write from an early age? Or?
I wrote a little in high school, and a few of my teachers, one of them, Johnny Blankenship, he's local here. He wrote for the paper for years, and he always told me I needed to write and pursue that, but I just didn't. I didn't have time to do it, quite honestly. With the military and getting your PI license, you can't. Writing is it's a task. It takes up a lot of your time. My wonderful girlfriend, Lisa Stadelman's been at the newspaper here in Beckley for years, and she kind of inspired me. She said, you have all these stories, write them down. So I started taking notes, and then I came up with enough where I thought I can put a book together.
Nice. How many stories did you have for that first go around?
Oh, I don't know. That was a thing too. Not knowing anything about writing, I had to do some research. How many words does a book need? How many chapters does a book need to really be a book? So anyway, it ended up with 27 chapters. Now they're short stories. They're not long. Yep. The beauty of these books are you don't need to be a reader. You could pick this book up and go to chapter 14 and read it because it stands alone each chapter.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about these it was so well received that I went ahead and did the second one, and I kind of didn't censor the second one as much. Stop throwing crack babies at
Sure,
me.
Yeah. This and beautiful cover art. I imagine you did the artwork.
I did.
Yeah, I love it. And again, very good titles. So these first 27 stories, did you have 37 and whittle it down to this batch of insanity, or How did that work?
Honestly, it was hard to remember everything. I took some notes over the years, so I had a few files, and there's a few things you'll never forget. But another thing I did is I had some names in a computer, some data, and I would just scroll through those names, and when I'd see and they'd come back to me. So I'd take my notes, and then when you remember a little bit of a story, you remember the whole story. So that's how I did it, and then I started one story at a time.
Yeah, so let's go through them, and we'll talk about. I mean, I don't care. We got plenty of time. We can talk about as many as you want.
That's up to you.
Yeah. I'm excited in a weird way. But which story you want to kind of lay out first? That was and we, if there's some you don't want to spoil, because I'm sure there's some.
There's a few I wouldn't want to spoil for the readers, sure. Yeah. But if there's one you liked, let me know. I pretty much got it all in my head.
Sure. Yeah. So I want to talk about. Let's talk about how you created the title first off. So there's a meth head in your dryer. And I haven't came across that story yet, but I imagine that's a story in the book.
It's absolutely a story, and it's 100% true.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the first one we start with.
Well, we can, they're all short stories. So you're really not ruining a book by doing that at all.
Sure.
I had, like I said, I didn't know anything about writing, so I did some researching, and you want a catchy title, you want a title that's inclusive in the book and something that grabs attention, whether it's negative or positive, it's still attention. And so I looked through the titles, and I thought, well, what is something, or the chapters, and what is something I can actually draw? Because I want to draw my own cover. And I thought that would just be a really cute picture. Nothing hard to draw. A clothes dryer with some legs and a needle hanging out of it. It's clearly a meth head in the dryer, and it's worked. The bookstores and the boutiques and such that have carried my book have all told me that they're conversation starters, and they're selling. So.
Yeah, for sure. I heard from tons of people that's read the books and love them. Where can people pick them up in the area?
In the area right now, the only place that I have them are, I'm not even sure. I'm not really sure right now. It's hard for me to keep track of them. Amazon is the easiest place to get them and brought right to your door, and they'll deliver them right to you.
Oh, perfect. So you can buy these on Amazon.
Yeah, and I have, if you follow me on Facebook, I do every now and then I'll have a book signing somewhere, down up at Calacino's or something. We'll have a get together and come up and have fun, read a little bit, and do a signing.
Gary MF and Vaughan on Facebook.
Gary MFGV Vaughan.
Or MFGV. It's not MFing. I always just it's MFing because
it's
of
MFGV.
Okay.
And that's a story too. So,
what's that?
Well, I did not create my own MFGV nickname. I had arrested a girl some years ago, and when I arrested her on a bond violation, she was so high that the jail wouldn't take her. And so, with the help of a local police agency where I was, we held her in a holding cell all day, like 8 hours. Let her sleep it off, fed her. At the end of the day, she was still too high for the jail to take, and I'm out of options. So I just took her back home, dropped her off, and said, "Hey, I'm going to come pick you up another day." And so what else can you do?
Right.
Can't take her home with me. So I took her, dropped her off. And I did. I went back another day and arrested her, and she was so furious, and she had no recollection of being arrested the other time. And when she got out of jail, I went into a local restaurant, and she saw me, and there was a lot of my friends in the restaurant at the time, a lot. And she just yelled, "Gary Mother effing Vaughan," and she tackled me. So all my friends kind of stuck that moniker on me, and it blew up from there.
Oh, that's great, man. So let's talk. I'm curious on your perspective on addiction. Obviously spending so many years, a lot of these people have fell, unfortunately, into addiction. And, people see the titles, there's a meth head in your dryer, stop throwing crack babies at me. What is your personal opinion on what has happened to Appalachia, but also the nation really with addiction and how it affects these communities?
It's a plague. It's a terrible plague. And I blame it on, it started with the doctors, where it started. There's so many stories and documentaries out there, but I'm in the middle of the road on it. Honestly, it's a choice to start with, but after you make that choice, it seems it seems impossible to get out of. People dig themselves a hole that they just can't get out of. I don't know how you fix it, and I don't know where you go. You hear it starts at home, or it's, we need more things for the kids to do, which is, I think everything is true, but it's different for every single person. The problem with dealing with criminals for 20 plus years, and I think anybody in law enforcement, police officers, judges will all tell you that a lot of these people, a whole lot of them, continually make bad choices. You'll hear somebody that does 2 years in jail and get out, and in 48 hours they're high and they're on something and they're strung out. That is a choice. You'll never change my mind on that. You come out of there clean. It's like, same with cigarettes. Even with cigarettes, you don't know it, but you stopped smoking 6 months ago. But as soon as they hit the street, they want that cigarette. And they go back around those same people. You got to make changes. They've got to make changes. And it's hard. That'd be hard. I mean, imagine you or me trying to change the people we hung out with for whatever reason that was. It's very difficult.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is they have to pretty much change their entire life. Like, they can't hang out with who they usually hung out with, because it'll be triggers for, getting back into the throes of addiction. But yeah, I feel the same way. Like, you can't not take accountability, but also you can approach this in an empathetic type way.
Absolutely.
So I totally agree. Have you? I'm just curious. Have you had anyone kind of comment on the titles and kind of be like, "What's going on here, Gary? Are you okay?"
I have. I was accepted to the West Virginia Book Fair last year, so I set up in Charleston, and that's a big, thousands of people come through there. So I got all sorts of comments, positive and negative. And that's the same whether you're at a big book fair or you're just in town or on the internet. The people that know me know that I do have an empathetic view on a whole lot of this, but I'm vocal about the other parts and the parts that people see that really don't know me. And they know what I'm vocal about and what I post about on social media. Like, people need help. There are people here that need help, and I want to help them. And I do things, and other people do too. And I applaud that. But the general public also needs to know that there's people out there that don't need help. They're counting on it, and they live like they do because they know you'll help them. The hard thing is to know who those people are and to be able to draw the line and know the difference.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And there's so many good people doing that very work every day in Southern West Virginia that we don't really hear about. I mean, you always see the provocative stuff on the news, and all that stuff's important to talk about, but it kind of gets lost, the solutions that people are creating. The stories of, like, I remember when Fruits of Labor was here, you would hear these stories about people who would get their kids back and get their first vehicle and all of these things that are just things you never really hear about. And I think that's important too. But also, you got to know there's bad people, and they do bad stuff, and sometimes they get so far into it that there's no turning back, unfortunately. But so on that, is there a case that sticks out to you? Like, have you ever had to investigate a death? What you talk about the trailer being burnt down, or has a lawyer ever came to you and be like, we had this family who was murdered, or this? Is there anything specifically that jumps out to you that was particularly affected you in some kind of way? Not
unsolved. I've never worked on any big unsolved mysteries. Generally, by the time a private investigator is involved, someone's arrested, there's a trial coming. Now, sometimes when they swear they didn't do it, you've got to look at every other avenue. But yeah, some have stood out. I worked one in southern part of the state where 4 people were shot in one incident. 2 of them killed, 3 were killed, and one was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And I got into the facts of that, and I worked it for months, and what had happened to drive the defendant to do something like that. It was drug addiction. The drug addiction got so bad that he was starting to steal, and he ended up breaking into a drug dealer's house across the state line and stealing from the wrong person who got him on camera and came to him and basically told him, look, I'm going to kill you for stealing from me unless you go shoot these people for me. And that was a simple drug problem that just spiraled out of control and ended up the rest of his life in prison. And it can happen to anyone. It can happen to good people. It really can. Your life can change. I've learned doing this business that your life can change with just a few poor decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. Or impulsivity of like, things you decide that split second that you can't go back from. It's like, well, now your life's screwed. Things like that. So, how do you kind of bring this, all your experience in this work into your artwork? Because, you do woodworking and illustrations. Have you always been artistic in that way?
I have. I've always been artistic since I was just a kid. I've always drawn or painted or did something, but it was not until after really I got out of the military that I started doing something with it and started actually painting and selling art. And I've been very blessed. I seem to have found a niche of things that people like. So as long as my art sells, I'm going to do it. Now, sometimes y'all try to put a little bit of politics or a little bit of real world into it, and you get both sides of the spectrum. Anytime you do something like that, somebody loves it and somebody wants to
Slash
destroy it. Oh yeah, I've had, and everybody that follows me on Facebook knows I've had people to burn my paintings live on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, just because of something that I have said.
Yeah.
And it's just silly because I promise you, you can't read somebody by one thing they say. It's just, life's not black and white like some people wish it was.
Sure. I know I overshare a lot. Is there any instances where you're like, well, I probably shouldn't have done that, or
Sure.
like I have no regrets tattooed on my back, and I regret the tattoo. So it's ironic in itself. I'm just curious because I know I've hit delete several times. I'm like, I kind of delete that.
There's two sides of that coin for me. Yeah, there's some things that I've said or posted that I thought maybe I shouldn't have said that. I've really stirred up a lot of people. But at the same time, if I was honest and I meant it, what's the real harm?
Sure.
If I meant it and it was true and it's what I felt, it's just something, what I felt. You didn't leave the room wondering, at least you knew.
That's a good point. Yeah. And obviously, there's lines with that, I've always, the things I kind of go back, I'm like, well, that's probably a little too harsh. Let me kind of delete that one. I kind of second guess myself a lot. I wish that I could be more, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to leave that up and I don't really give a crap. I've started doing that here lately and it actually feels pretty good.
It does. It does.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels good to express yourself. So, all right. How do you do these paintings, by the way? Is this like water or is it acrylic?
Those are acrylic on canvas with just a digital scan.
So is that your main medium?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Mostly what I do is canvas with acrylic. Now I'll use, all sorts of things. I've painted a picture live in Fayetteville one time using hot sauce, but usually,
oh wow,
anything you can get down and put a clear coat on, I like to experiment. But usually acrylic and a lot of spray paints, a lot of stencils, and then you use a lot of cardboard to make your, to do your spray painting and clear coats. So,
heck yeah, you a Banksy fan?
I'm a big Banksy fan.
Man, I am too. I got several of photos of his work. Because most of it's on structures that can't go anywhere. But yeah, I always loved the rebel nature of his work and how it had really witty and smart messages behind it.
They all do.
Yeah, yeah. I love one of my favorite ones. He is he did one of a monkey, and it has a sign on it, and it says, "Laugh now, one day we'll be in charge." I got that out in the studio here, but yeah, man. Well, cool. So, you are you officially retired?
No, I work. I still work as a bail bondsman.
Okay, cool.
I just don't do it full time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to focus on art right now, and for the last 2 years, that's what I've been doing, focusing on more art than anything, and it's, and again, another two-sided coin. There's a lot of stress off you when you're not doing that full time, but then it adds a little stress when now you're like, okay, I got to produce, I got to get some art, I got to really do it, and make it happen. I got to sell it.
How do you maintain a? Because I'm going through that now with the show of trying to figure out like, well, I don't want to kill the creativity, and I love it so much, but I got to put that business mindset behind it and have structure and set hours and say like from this hour to this hour, I'm going to do this. And I have undiagnosed something. I think it's ADHD, and it's hard for me to have that, to maintain that responsibility. So how do you do that?
I don't. I hope it works for you, but I really have tried. I really have. Like, okay, Monday, I'm going to make a painting. If it takes me till midnight, I'm going to create a painting Monday. And then, one of my friends calls me or something comes up or it's pretty outside and I didn't do anything. And now look at me. Now Thursday night, I'm working late trying to catch up. I try to be very productive. And I feel like if I lose time, I try to get it back. But I don't know. I don't have any hints for you or tips how you do that, because it's very difficult for me to do. But we got to figure something out.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I always feel like I've said it before. I'm a constant caterpillar trying to make a cocoon to make that eventual butterfly. But I can never get there. I can never make enough videos. I can never make some project the most perfect thing to where I'm satisfied. You know what I mean?
You're preaching to the choir. That is an artist encompassed right there. This one's going to be the one. This piece is really going to be awesome. And they're always about the same level of awesome, but you keep thinking, I'm going to have one that's going to go on eBay for $3,000. But,
this one will fill the dark void in my soul.
Yeah, I'll feel better when this one sells. And then, no, I got to paint this one.
Never happens.
I love doing requests. I love doing strange things. The stranger, the better. I've had the strangest, and I love painting something and trying to create something that's never existed.
Well, let's talk about that. Like, what are you talking about? Like macaroni noodles? You made something, or what's strange?
Well, the couple on top of my head, someone says, hey, can you paint me an 18 by 24 canvas with the Pink Panther sitting on the toilet smoking weed? I'm like, well, yeah, I can do that. Give me a few days to think on it. And so you got to, but we have so much access out there. You look through the internet, find a lot of pictures of the Pink Panther. He's sitting on a chair in some picture. So now I got this to go by, and anybody can do the rest of it. And I put it together. And I had someone recently for a wedding present ask me to paint a picture of a mobile home with a little girl, and they specifically described the dress chasing a balloon that was shaped like cat dog that was getting away. And it was something that had happened to them, and they wanted me to paint it as a wedding gift, and I did. And I love doing things like that.
You're like the human form of Chat GPT. Like,
yeah.
Which we got in a little conversation. I think we need to expand on that before we hit record. So AI is, whether we like it or not, becoming a part of most things. And I know me personally, I've used AI. I've used it to be productive in ways that I don't have the resources. I also pay people to do things, but you only have a limited amount of resources. So I've done things to where creatively I felt like, okay, well, I'm okay with using it in this way. But at the same time, where are we going with this? What's your opinion on it?
Well, I look at it mostly in the light of as an artist more than anything else. I know a lot of smart people are worried about it and where it's going, but I look at it, I don't like when AI is used to try to pass something off as real. That's very unfortunate. And I hate to even think about the people that are sitting at home just doing that. Hey, I'm going to make this and tell people it's real. That's not real. Now, as an artist, I've barely used it, but I'll tell you, it's something's helpful. Like we talked about the Pink Panther painting. Right now, I could type into AI, hey, give me a picture of the Pink Panther sitting on the toilet smoking some weed. And now I got something to go by, and it's quicker for me to produce the painting you want, because a lot of painting a picture like that is sitting at home sketching for sometimes hours, trying to get it how you want it before you even start painting. Now that cuts all that out. The AI will.
Yeah, for sure. And I got a video that comes to mind that we can watch. Have you watched the video? Actually, my cousin's in it. Of the national park describing fake New River Gorge Bridge pictures?
I have not.
Okay. Well, I'll crank this up in a minute. But you bring up a good point. I try to be a positive person. And I think, you know what? This is probably going to allow a lot of people the ability to either build creativity or be inspired for different things, or to come up with ideas that may have not existed in a lot of ways. Now, where I think it gets tricky is copyright infringement when it comes to the property that they're pulling from.
Right.
Where they're not, you can't really prove it, but like, that's my art style. Right. I know that they're taking this as inspiration to build their robot. You know what I mean? That's where it gets a little weird.
It does. And as a pop artist, which I pretty much do a lot, mostly pop art, you got to be concerned about that too. People like Disney and WVU football, they don't want you painting their stuff. They don't like it. Now, if I paint you a picture of Mickey Mouse or something, they don't care about that. But if I start making shirts and getting them out there in stores, they'll come after you for it. So you got to be careful.
Oh yeah. Well, let me bring up this video here, and we'll kind of take a gander. Let me make sure I got the audio flowing through this.
While you're straightening that out, I'll tell you something artists are concerned about is people wanting AI, a print or something on canvas on their wall at home, as opposed to something someone created. I personally don't really worry about that because, posters and prints are out there. You can go to Hobby Lobby and get a Batman print right now if you want it. But I don't think that anything will ever replace an actual piece of art someone's created.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I mean, what's the difference if somebody comes over to your house and they see a Batman print you bought at Hobby Lobby, or they see something that's signed and local and clearly hand done? It's a bigger deal. And
sure.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, the small imperfections, like you're not going to AI a bowl, you're not going to have, if you see some kind of little thumbprint that isn't supposed to be there, or there's an authenticity to it. I feel like
100%.
Yeah. Humans are smart. And I feel like we are, majority of us. Now, sometimes people will see a picture of so-and-so celebrity carrying a kid through a raging river, and you're like, surely they don't think that's real. And there's a percentage that do.
Absolutely. That's a problem with it, is there are people that will believe it.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. So I think things like that are going to be detrimental to society. But let me see if I can get this going. Let me back up here. There's my use of AI. I was like, hey, let me see.
What do you use? What have you used?
That was, so this right here is a chat GPT prompt that I found because people will put their prompts out there and say, okay, use this as a template. So I went through and changed everything, and then I gave it a picture. I was like, use this picture as inspiration. And it's not quite perfect, but it's like, and I said, put like a bunch of trucker hats, because I love trucker hats.
Oh, well, that's great. I brought you one.
I know. I saw that. Thank you so much. But yeah, I thought that seems to be the rage right now, is making everyone look like they're plastic toys. And y'all can find that if you're listening on Facebook. Let's see if I got audio.
Virginia, maybe don't use a third.
We're going to watch this video that my cousin, and I'm not sure this other guy's name, the New River Gorge National Park, when they were there, made. Let me cut the audio on. All right.
This beautiful photo I found on the internet of the New River Gorge. Wait a minute. The perspective seems off on this one and not like the real thing.
Hey, this is a pretty good one. Wait, this is not how the New River Gorge Bridge actually looks.
This isn't the New River Gorge Bridge. What's that little bridge on the right corner?
All right, now this is just getting crazy. Who's posting all these fake photos of the New River Gorge all across the internet?
With the rise of AI art, it's not uncommon to be fooled by AI pictures and think that's what you're going to see whenever you come to our park here. With the internet, sometimes it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake, what's the original and what's just a copy.
Which is why it's always important to be vigilant when consuming media online. Some things are so similar to one another, it's like you're seeing double. And with the New River Gorge having naturally beautiful views like this, what's the point of using AI art anyway?
Remember, not everything you see on the internet is accurate to real life,
Despite how similar things might appear.
Okay, so they good job, Chance. So my cousin's on the right, but very good monotone read. But that did awesome. It got like 15,000 likes and really good video. But it kind of describes what the problems are. Is people who haven't been to this area, you could just make something up and say, look at this so-and-so hole. Did you know, back in 1742, 300 people died in an inferno, or whatever. And
well, he made a good point. He said that's not what people are going to see when they get here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the problem is the people that are never, that are just actually, if you believe some of that stuff, like that one with the 2 bridges, if you believe that, you need some help. You need to message the show and we need to get you resources. But still, there's a lot of boomers out there, Gary, that are falling for this stuff.
And hopefully it's not the only site. Maybe they'll go look at another picture of it.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see how it goes. But I think overall, I think it's going to be a good thing until the Terminator occurs and it starts thinking for itself. But wait, we got to live each day. We can't think about the future.
Like everything we do, every invention is good till it's not. I mean, cell phones were great, and now they're wearing these kids out. And
dude, it's a problem.
Automobiles were great, and then they polluted there's eggs were good for a long time. Then they were bad. Now are they good again? I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the phones, especially, and I'm guilty. I can feel dopamine depletion when it happens. You feel like a drained sack of meat, if that makes sense. It's like, I appreciate all of this response and the positivity, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I imagine what alcoholism is like or something like that, where you just, I need this phone. Like, technically you don't. I grew up without one for 20 years. I don't really need it, but I kind of need it. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm working through that.
I found myself way more productive when I turned mine off or refused to just look at it. I do get more done.
Oh, 100%. Oh, no, it's a time suck, dude. And I got my screen time report, and I'm not saying what my screen time was this past week. I'll say this. It has to go down.
I've never looked. I don't want to.
Man, it's awful. It's awful. So I had it. I'll put my screen time on blast. Why not? So I had it around 4 hours, which was a lot, but it was still 4 hours a day. It was, it was a lot, but it was mostly business, which that's what it is now too, because I'm essentially running 2 businesses now. But I've noticed a change in my mentality directly correlating to my screen time. Now it's 6.5 a day. Gary, that's insane.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot.
But you got to also think, shift. Are you getting anything done though? Is it all, it's not all a waste. You're doing some research, you're making some contacts, you're doing some things.
I mean, I will say this, it's 100% affiliated with productivity.
Yeah.
Involving the show. And I'll check comments. Eventually I'm going to have to stop doing that, but I like engaging with the audience. Stuff like that I feel is important. It's researching stories a lot. Right. I use my phone to research because, I'll just sit on the couch and relax and say, okay, I'm going to write a script. Let's see if we can find something cool to write about. So it is all productive stuff. But
yeah, you're not just watching cats get squirted with squirt guns all day.
I know, but that would be so much fun.
But then once you do, you're going to watch 11 of them.
It's just like, let me keep scrolling. TikTok. We screwed ourselves when they created the endless scroll function. You remember when Facebook used to stop?
Yes.
At one time it stopped, and MySpace too. Well, I don't even think MySpace had walls. It was like you go to your friend's page and see what they're posting, and you had to have all these extra steps. But at one point in time, Facebook, it stopped scrolling, and it was like, okay, I'm done. But now it's just, you can go into infinity, son. But anyway,
I never did MySpace, and I fought Facebook for a long time, and until I learned what I could do with it. That's kind of funny. I as a bail bondsman, as a fugitive recovery, eventually a bank is going to call you to repo a vehicle because that's just how it works.
Sure.
Every bail bondsman gets called because we find people, they figure you can find their cars. And I didn't have a Facebook, and a bank called me about a guy's Jeep, and I didn't know where to start. And one of the girls that worked at our office said, check his Facebook. And I'm like, I don't have a Facebook. And she said, well, let me show you. And she went to the guy's Facebook page, and his Jeep was his Facebook profile picture. And his last post was, hey, started a job. Started a job today. I go to work at Lowe's this afternoon at 4:00. So I went to Lowe's at 4:00 and I took his Jeep. And I thought, I'm going to have to get one of those Facebooks.
Dude, that's great. And that's the problem, too, because as an employer, I've hired a few people. I will say, I'll check their Facebooks. And if I see some stuff that I'm like, I don't know. It's a little, intense.
It's changed the world in fugitive recovery. Facebook literally changed the whole landscape of it.
Yeah.
Before Facebook, you had to do everything by every legwork, all of it, going out, knocking on doors, talking to people. Man, now I put a wanted poster on Facebook. Half the time I'm getting a call in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
Telling me everything. All these people that I'm looking for, somebody hates them. Somebody somewhere hates them. And that's all I'm trying to do is reach that person. When that person, I'll tell you everything you want to know about that SOB, So
man, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, odds are someone hates this person because criminals tend to do crimes, and we don't like crimes, Gary.
No, we do not.
Some people are deciding to say, it's not the criminal's fault, it's the people who talk about it and spread awareness's fault.
Well, I will tell you, this is a fact. Those people change those tunes when they come home and their front door's kicked in and their big screen's gone, or it happened to their mom. Then suddenly it's, why is this guy not in jail yet?
Yeah. Well, it's like someone who didn't like the police. You don't like the police until you need them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then you call them 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And ask them why they haven't done anything.
Exactly. And everything's just so more intricate. So you got a bunch of cars, you got a bunch of pictures of old vehicles on your page.
Oh, last Saturday I went to the big swap meet auto fair, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm big into and you'll see there's no real fancy chromed out cars. I'm into the rusty rat rod.
Oh no, those are beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's see. We got a nice doggy here. I don't know if that's your doggy.
No,
Is this your artwork?
No, I was out of town. I was down in Asheville.
Oh.
And I like to take pictures of the artsy stuff around these towns. I wish Beckley would do more art than they are doing. And we're working on that. I'm now a part of that. So I'm hoping we can change that.
Heck yeah. So let's talk about that. You're a member of the Beckley Arts Center.
Yeah.
You're on the board.
I am.
Yeah. So what is
exciting
that for someone who may not know?
The Beckley Arts Center is on Johnstown Road. It's a gallery for one thing. It's got a beautiful gallery. We had a big opening ceremony yesterday. It's under new management, new board, new everything. It's not what it used to be. We have a huge downstairs space, and a lot of people don't realize this, and they can use that space. A lot of people you'll see on Facebook, hey, I need a space to have this party. And the Beckley Arts Center is a great place to do it. But we've got a classroom down there. We're going to start focusing on the kids and the younger people, and everything from clay to painting, you name it. The Beckley Arts Center, we're going to restore it to what it used to be back in the day.
Awesome. Have you done a mural ever?
I haven't done any murals around here. I've done a lot of murals for people in their homes. And
oh, cool. Awesome. And so like you mentioned, you take custom commissions and are down to figure stuff out, and you told me I can build about anything.
If I can't do it, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So do you YouTube a lot? Like how to, this,
constantly. I'm always got a project going, and my thing is I'll paint anything that'll hold paint, and some things that they say won't hold paint, I'll figure out a way to make it hold paint. We'll do it.
Heck yeah, brother. Well, cool. So back to the bail bondsman stuff. So that's, and I'm completely green on the subject, but that's completely different than PI work. What is a bail bondsman? When does someone need them? Which I don't know if it's completely different. When someone skips, a court hearing, that's when you become the PI side of things.
Right.
What is a bond?
Okay, for easy math, let's say you get arrested today for something. And for simple math, they make your bond $10,000. You have a couple options. One, you can give the court $10,000, and when you go back to court, that's returned to you. Most people can't do that. Another thing they can do is a third party, your wife can't, or your home can't, but a third party could put their home up as collateral for you. That means there's a lien against it. They can't sell it or do anything with it or get loans on it. Till you go to court, that lien's removed. Most people can't or don't want to do that because you miss court, they could lose their home. Third option is a bail bondsman. You can come to me, and the bail bondsman puts their $10,000 up. I charge you 10%. It's $1,000 to you, which I've made. When you go to court, our contract's over. The bondsman's made $1,000. You miss court, the bondsman's out 10 grand, so he's coming to find you to get you back into jail.
Got it. Okay. So you put up the big chunk of money. They pay you a little bit of the money. When they go to court, you get your money back. Right.
But now let's be clear. I do not own the company I work for.
Okay.
I'm a bondsman there, but that's how the bonding company works. That's how the bonds work.
Gotcha. So how are you informed? Do you go to the court date or you make sure that they show up, or do you kind of get notified after the fact?
Well, what our company does, it really works, is we keep a court docket. We get a court docket every week from the prosecutor's office, and we check it and we run it with our people. So you got court tomorrow, I'm calling you. I'm calling, hey, you got court tomorrow. Don't forget, you got court 10 o'clock tomorrow. If I can't get a hold of you, we always get references, or I'll post on social media. Hey, somebody know this cat? He's got court tomorrow. Need him to know. That really causes people to go that didn't even know they was supposed to be there. So it's not, fugitives really today is not as big a problem as it used to be.
How many fugitives are in the area at any given time?
A while, well, I wouldn't know because I'm one of many bonding companies, but we generally only have one or two out at a time, sometimes none. It's really not as big a problem as you think it is, but like anything else, it surges. We can go 6 months and not have one, and then bam, have four. So it can get wild.
Yeah. Are you a Dog the Bounty Hunter fan?
Absolutely not. No way, shape, or form. And there's apparently a new TV show out called The Bondsman with maybe Kevin Bacon. Is that? I have got 1,000 people sending me messages. You got to watch this show. Stop sending me those messages. I'm not going to watch that show.
No, watch it. Just are like with Dog. Okay, let's talk Dog the Bounty Hunter, for instance. What is it about that show? Is it not really based on reality as far as
absolutely not? And it's not really even. I know you said as far as I'm concerned, it's a fact. It's for instance, if I come knock on your door tonight at 11 o'clock and you're a bad guy and I'm looking for your cousin, and I say, hey, I'm looking for your cousin, you're probably going to tell me to kiss your ass and get off my porch, more than likely.
Right.
However, if I've got a production team with me and a pile of cameras and a big TV truck out front and a waiver, hey, we're going to put you on TV. Well, come in, let's talk. We'll talk. And that's how that always works. Realistically, 9 out of 10 people aren't going to tell you anything. Sure. And they love talking to him and helping him, and because he's famous. But that's he's crossed the line where it's not real at all.
Right. What's the farthest stretch you had to go to find someone?
Like distance?
Yeah.
Me personally, I've been to Miami. I've been to, of course, the Carolinas and New York City. Some of the guys that work for the company I work for have been to Washington State. I've been to the Canadian border. Literally, there's a little place up there called Bridge to Canada. I've been there. It'll take you all over for sure.
Well, how fun? I don't know if that's the word.
Yeah, it was when I was younger. It really was fun for a long time.
Yeah.
And you get older, you don't heal as good. And
Have you ever been attacked? Has any Fugitive ever got the best of you, or do
Yeah.
you go pretty well loaded up of like, all right, I got my mace, I got my taser, I got my gun, or whatever? What is that?
I've got there's a picture in my first book where I had to get plastic surgery. I had my head cut from my hairline all the way to my cheek through my eyelids, and yeah.
With a knife?
No, I was hit with you remember your grandma probably had one of those big thick candy dishes that has all the big glass ones with the knots, the big bubbles.
Oh
on it.
yeah.
Yeah, I got smashed in the face
Like
with one of
carnival
those.
glass?
Yeah,
Carnival?
maybe. Yeah, just that big, thick, heavy. Never saw it coming. Never saw it coming. It happens. Yeah, one of the guys that's worked with us, got his leg broke. Was out of state when he got his leg broke, so had to travel back with a broken leg. Yeah, we've seen it all.
How did he break his leg? He jumped off.
Going through a door, breaching a door. Yeah. Of course, we've been maced ourselves. I fell off a second floor window chasing somebody. I mean, it's everything. Those books are full of crazy stories, and every one of them are 100% true. I want people to know. Some people will read those and go, "Okay, that didn't happen." I assure you, it happened. I assure you.
Tell me about who was the guy that smashed you in the head with the glass.
For legal reasons, that is one story.
I mean, you know what?
I can hardly talk much about
Sure.
Because that got really ugly in the system because it was it got really bad,
Yeah.
and he was prosecuted for that, went to prison for that, and my lawyer, actually an attorney friend of mine, has scanned a lot of the things I've done and okayed a lot of things, and that's one of the few things I couldn't really go into detail about.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Well, let's talk about the broken leg. I mean, breached the door. Did he do it kicking the door?
I wasn't with them when they
right.
done that, but I think they were well, when he kicked the door in, I think the door was compromised, and when his foot went through the door, the guy on the other side grabbed his leg. Is
Right.
how that went. Yeah, I wasn't there, but it's a dangerous job. It really is.
Oh man, it sounds like it. When you fell out of a window, where's that window at? Is that local window?
Well, it was open. It was in Gilbert. The guy ran up the steps. It's a lot of times you get tunnel vision.
right.
So I'm chasing the guy up the steps. He went around the corner, through a bedroom, over a bed, and through a window. And just like an idiot, I just followed him. Of course, he knew where he was going. I didn't. Out the window I went. So I guess I really didn't fall out the window. I jumped, but I didn't. I thought maybe there was a ledge or a roof or something out there. I went right there with him. But, yeah.
How does that feel?
It sucks. Yeah, I didn't get any real injuries from it, but he got away temporarily.
Right.
At that time, he got away, but I got him a few days later.
Those Mingo County windows are tricky. So I mean, but
Mingo County's, it's like you crossed into another country when you get there sometimes.
Oh man, I used to work. So I worked at Coal Mountain, which was right outside of Mingo County, and man, I loved it. I went to the Harless Center and worked out all the time, and it was a real nice gym in the area. But it's one of those. It's kind of a stereotypical West Virginia town in a way because it's tucked in there, in between the hills. But yeah, beautiful place. I actually have someone I work with pretty regularly that done a couple murals in town in Gilbert. But yeah,
Gilbert's it's a cool place. It's like you said, it's stereotypical. It's got wonderful people, some great facilities, like you said, the Buck Harless, the theater, the gym, but their crime rate back in the hollers is bad.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
So is a majority of these cases, do they involve drugs, or could it vary? Like, okay, well, this person's a wife beater. This person, I wouldn't imagine you have many murderers. They probably never get out, really.
Murder and kidnapping in West Virginia is the one thing that magistrates don't assign bonds to. You can apply through an attorney for a hearing in front of a circuit court judge and have a bond hearing. Not many are granted. When you see a murderer that's out on bond, it's generally medical. Like you'll see why is this guy even out? Well, sometimes if they've got really bad health problems, like really bad, it would cost the state so much to keep them housed. It's easier to put them out on bond and on home confinement and monitor them than it is leave them in jail.
That makes sense. All right, so stop throwing crack babies at me. I gotta ask about this title.
True story.
So are we talking like, please take my baby? I gotta go, I gotta go use the bathroom. Or are they
No.
literally like, take this baby grenade, bam?
Yeah, more like that. I had a guy at gunpoint at a local motel.
I hate to laugh on this.
Well, that's the thing about these books.
Right.
Every story really is terrible, but there's humor in everything. And if you don't find it doing jobs like this, you'll drive yourself crazy. You got to find the humor in it. You got to be able to look back and laugh, or you'll lose your mind. I think.
Yeah.
But I had the guy at gunpoint when I went into the motel room. The manager gave me the key, so I went in and told me he was in there, and the guy's vehicle was there. So I opened the door, went in. There was a really skinny girl on one of the beds. It was one of those motels with two small beds. I didn't even see the baby because I saw her and I saw him. He had wet hair and wasn't completely dressed, but he didn't have his shoes on, but he was there. He was. I had him. There's nowhere to go. I had a guy behind me with me, but he couldn't draw his weapon because there's a small room and he's behind me, so he can't do that. But he's got the door. Go to your knees. Put your hands behind your back. Go to your knees. This guy's big. He's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I see him when he's looking at me. I see he's not going to do this, and we're going to have to do this the hard way. I'm begging him, please, go to your knees. Put your hands behind your head. Go to your knees. He doesn't. He's looking at her. She starts screaming. It gets a little chaotic. She literally picks that baby up and threw the baby across the room at me, over the bed and across the room. And here you are with a gun in your hand, vest on, your belt, all this, and this baby's coming at you. As I'm catching this baby with my gun, your only thing in my head at the time was, catch this baby, don't drop this gun, So as I'm doing it, the guy plows right through me, and my guy just plows over us like a linebacker. And I'm trying not to hurt this baby. I'm rolling on the floor. My gun goes flying. I'm catching this baby, and my guy takes off chasing this fella, my other guy. I'm really concerned. Wow, this is really bad. This baby could be hurt. It didn't hurt the baby. She's snatching it back from me immediately. It was just a ploy. They did exactly what they wanted to do. Can you imagine even thinking of that?
I mean, that's
living a life where you thought of that.
Yeah. And you're like, hoo, ha, ha. And you loaf the baby, and you're like, got the baby. Okay.
And some of my friends laugh at me or give me trouble. Of course, I'm just joking. But I said, if anybody ever throws a baby at you, swat it to the ground. Don't try to catch it.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you could have caught it when the baby was going over the bed, like, whoo, like some kind of a swift maneuver to
but
throw
I
him
don't
on
think
a pillow.
there's any training in baby catching, and you don't know what you're going to do.
Well, we need to increase the funding, people. we gotta add this training in the criteria.
But in the book, I tell the story in detail, how it all went down and how it all ended. I try to do that in a lot of these chapters. I try to tell you what happened to that person when I knew. I didn't always know, but I'll tell you, so many of them overdosed and died or went to prison. So many of them. And I've had some clients end up, the weirdest things happen to them when you live those lives. Like, for instance, I had a guy, I guess the doctor said he was sniffing propane out of one of the camper type propane bottles. And I didn't even know that was a thing, but I guess it is if you're an addict and you're hard up. But he passed out, and the propane froze his arm, froze it solid, and he lost his arm.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever heard the contrary of, like, you know what? Old Linda threw her baby at me one time, but she's really a good person now.
Yeah. I personally know a few of them, success stories. I'd shout them out, but they might not want me to.
I mean, yeah, we don't have to say names.
Some of them have moved into actual recovery jobs where they're helping people. I will say that it's few and far between. It really is. But it is rewarding. Like, I did have it on my Facebook, but I don't know where it's at. Someone sent me a message, female, who I really had a nasty arrest with. It was bad. It got violent. It was bad. Several people involved. And some years later, she sent me a message apologizing because she had got on Facebook and said all these horrible things about me. And, that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But she sent me a message and said that she was sorry for how the arrest went down. She was sorry for the things she had said, that she was doing better, and that I probably saved her life that day by putting her in jail.
Oh.
That is rare, but it makes you feel great.
It's possible, though. We got to hold on to that.
You do. I ran into a guy in Beckley, and I feel bad because I didn't even remember him. There's so many people. I mean, I'm your one bail bondsman, but you're one of my thousands of clients. I ran into a guy that I didn't even recognize, gave me a hug and said basically the same thing. He's like, man, I was in a bad place. I was almost dead. I spent some months in jail when you found me, and I got out. I got a job. I'm doing this now, and I'm clean. And it makes you feel good when it does happen. It does.
Oh,
And then there's so many out there you don't know where they land.
sure.
You want to hope some of them landed that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. How do you? I don't know how to. I wish we kind of touched on it earlier, but when you go in a room, I imagine there's a certain tone you have with these people. Are you, after you get them in cuffs? I imagine, do you cuff them, or?
Oh yeah.
So after you get them in cuffs, are you kind of easygoing with them, or are you trying to break the ice? Like, hey, I know I just arrested you, but did you watch the Knicks game last week?
Every situation is different.
Right.
First of all, it's always been my policy to get in and out as fast as I can. Once I have you and you have those cuffs on, I want to get in the vehicle and get gone. That's when trouble happens. A lot of the trouble that happens during arrest, any law enforcement will tell you, it's a third party. It's not even who you're dealing with. It's somebody else trying to knock you in the head with something. Just get out and get gone. And it's all about how they treat me. I treat them exactly like they treat me. Exactly. We can stop and buy a Dr. Pepper and tell some jokes on the way to jail, or we can stop a couple times and fight because you're out of your seatbelt again. I mean, however it wants,
Sure.
And you get both.
Yeah, I imagine so. So what's the name of the place that you're a bail bondsman at?
I work for First Action Bail Bonds. I've been there probably 16 years, I think.
Awesome. So First Action, y'all. I don't mean it's weird plugging a bail bondsman service on here, but people need these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Give us a call. And when you need us like right now.
Yeah.
And you don't think you need us, but
Hey.
you do. All of a sudden at 2:00 in the morning, you're like, I don't know a bail bondsman. Well, you need to.
Yeah. And I'd say a lot of these cases, maybe there's a couple that's been falsely accused. There's been
Sure.
people that have gotten cleared of any wrongdoing, and
There are good people that get arrested all the time. Absolutely. I've got friends that have been arrested, and anything also easy can happen. You can get in a fight quick somewhere, or had a couple of beers more than you needed to have, and it doesn't make you a bad person. And we'll treat you good. We'll make sure. My job is to keep you out of jail and out of trouble until you go back to court. It's not complicated, but
oh yeah. Well, I mean, stuff goes sideways quick.
it does. And I try to keep that from happening. I am notorious. If you follow my Facebook, and anybody that does will know, if you miss court on me, I'm not going to assume immediately that you're running. I'm just not, because 9 out of 10 times you're not. You just didn't get your mail, or you didn't get the message I left you. You screwed up. If I can get a hold of you and get you to come in, I'm physically going to walk you over to the magistrate and to the prosecutor and tell him, hey, he missed court last week. I got a hold of him. He changed his address, or his mom and him's fighting and she threw his mail away, whatever happened. But as soon as I called him, he came in. Can we get him a new date, or can we get this taken care of today? They'll do that. They'll work with you. And I try to do that. But some people don't believe that because they see the ugly side of it. And they're always just trying to get me to come in so he can put me in jail. We truly do that for people. If it's possible, I'll keep you out of jail. That's what you hired me for. And I want you to come back. I don't want to come in and trick you and you be mad and tell everybody I screwed you over. I want you to come back. I want you to know I did what I could for you.
Are we pushing Yelp reviews, or like, we got any kind of way to check out First Action?
You can, I mean, if I've ever helped you, I wouldn't ask anybody for a good review just because you're my friend, but there's a lot of people out there I've helped.
Mm-hmm.
If I've helped you, send me a message and I can tell you how you can help me.
How would you say someone who's like, well, I'm haven't broke any laws, but I really want this picture of this baby flying over this bed. How can they reach out to you?
I think I have prints of it. I'm pretty sure if I don't, I'll get prints of it.
Or custom work?
MFGV Art Studio. And that's everywhere. That's Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. MFGV Art Studio.
Heck yeah. Well, awesome. I know I'm going to get a custom piece soon. And you've brought, occasionally guests bring gifts.
I brought you a
and
couple
I'm
of
so
things.
excited about these. First
don't be excited because it's nothing big.
Oh man, I'm pumped. Well, first off, you gave me these 2 books, and they have inscriptions in them. I think that's the word. And these are very special to me. It's great for some light reading.
It is. I brought you a trucker hat.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
That's my.
Heck yeah, Richardson, the best brand.
That's what I'm told.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
That's, it's ooh.
Richardson makes good hats.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. It's got Mothman and Tudors on the front.
Yeah, that's one of my crazy creations. I got shirts and hoodies with the Mothman and Tudors. I brought you one of the prints.
Oh, dude, you did this one?
Yeah.
I got one over there.
Do you? That's mine. Yeah, you didn't even know you had one.
Wow.
You have a print or a shirt?
It's print.
Oh, okay. Well, you got that one now.
This is beautiful.
Here's another one where I guess the Mothman got in Tudors and got himself a Ron.
Heck yeah, dude! I ordered the Ron. This is, what's happening? This is like simulation theory level stuff. Like,
so you can't. You could probably do that on AI, but it wouldn't be original.
This is beautiful, man. Thank you.
And another semi-local piece. It's just it's a print of the Camden Park sign I did.
Dude, I just did a video on Camden Park. Man, all this is going right here. I'm gonna put it all right here.
And a shirt. You said you were a large.
My man, look at
That's
this.
another shirt from one of my paintings.
Oh yes,
Dr. Frankenfooter, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
dude. Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow, bud, you are talented.
I stay busy.
I'm gonna wear this next show probably. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad to do it.
I appreciate you being here. Anything else? I think we laid it all out there. Y'all be sure to buy. There's a meth head in your dryer first, and then make sure you get that second version where Gary was like, censorship can take a hike. Stop
that's
throwing
right.
crack babies at me.
The first one was so well. They're both 5-star on Amazon, and I'm blown away to get on Amazon and read those reviews. I couldn't believe that somebody like me who's never written before gets reviews from people. I've sold these in Britain and Australia. It's really crazy. And they'll say, this is so easy to read and so well done. And it makes you feel good that you've pulled this off. You've really done it.
Yeah. Well, be proud. It's so there's a meth head in your dryer is kid friendly, you're saying?
No, it's not. Don't leave these in the bathroom if you have kids that are reading.
Yep. You heard it here first.
But the second one, I did cut corners and went ahead and was more graphic with the second book.
Gotcha. Well, highly recommend y'all and everyone. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to Creepalachia on YouTube if you haven't already. And if you're listening to Apple or Spotify, leave a review, take a minute, and it'll really help the show get found. And don't forget, we are on Facebook and on TikTok. Appreciate everyone. And above all else, always remember, long live Appalachia.